Hello viewers, and welcome to my video, Top 10 Favorite Paper Mario Chapters. In this video, I will be counting down my personal favorite Paper Mario chapters. Now, the first, second and third Paper Mario games had 8 chapters each, while Sticker Star and Color Splash didn't have any actual chapters. As for Sticker Star, I will not be including any chapters from the game in this video, since none of the chapters in the game impressed me. However, I will be including Color Splash's chapters in the video. To define what I consider chapters in Color Splash, the moment you beat a boss until the next boss is beaten, the period in between is what I consider a chapter. So, I hope you enjoy the video. Number 10. Chapter 2 of Color Splash lands in my number 10. This chapter includes the levels Sunglow Ridge, Chateau Chanterelle, Mondo Woods, Marmalade Valley, Kiwano Temple, and the Golden Colosseum. Once you reach the professor's house in Chateau Chanterelle, you get informed that he went to Mondo Woods to walk his princess. When you go to Mondo Woods and visit the professor, you find him depressed that he lost his princess. Talking to him gives him optimism that he will find her at his house. When you talk to him there, he gives you access to Marmalade Valley as his last hope for you to find her. Over there, you find the bone, which you use to return princess to him. This mini story of chapter 2 is a simple yet an enjoyable one to do. Now, as for the levels themselves, Marmalade Valley, Kiwano Temple and Golden Colosseum are great levels. Marmalade Valley is a digging site where earthquakes strike caused by the princess. Kiwano Temple is a dungeon filled with traps and puzzles. There is even a section at the end where you have to escape a room that is about to be filled with lava. Golden Colosseum is the final level and my favorite from the chapter. What makes me love this dungeon is that you have to explore parts of it by navigating the outer section. This multi-floor dungeon is confusing, since there are a lot of areas where you reach by falling off from outside and multiple inner areas that are connected from the outside, making this level non-linear. At the end, you have to fight the goat. You battle him, beat him obviously, and rescue the yellow big paint star. End of chapter. Number 9. Taking the train to number 9 is chapter 2 from Paper Mario 64. I love desert levels, and this one is easily one of the best I have played. The level starts you at Metroid, which is the boring part of the chapter. Just to level the lost letters so there comes a flying turtle. Let's go to the fun part. Dry Desert is the biggest area in the game. You might think it's just an empty wasteland, but there are tons of secrets to be found. The biggest mystery of the desert is Dry Ruins, and it's the selling point of the chapter. Trying to solve the mystery of unraveling the ruins is one of the best moments in the game. To solve the mystery of the ruins, first you must solve the small mystery of Mr. Mustafa. Once you meet Mustafa, he gives you the stone which will summon Dry Ruins from under the sand where it is hidden. The ruins is filled with puzzles involving sand and rotating staircases. It even has stone chums who guard the treasures of the ruins. The design of the ruins and its atmosphere are outstanding. At the very bottom of the ruins, you battle the most evil, nastiest, scariest monster to ever make an appearance in the history of Mario. The Chain Chomp. Oh, you also fight Tutor Koopa. Last thing I want to mention, watch this cutscene. That cutscene is awesome. Number 8. Now, I'm not a big fan of Super Paper Mario's chapters as the majority of people. Sure, the chapters are creative, but the idea of exploring them in 2D and each being divided into 4 segments made them less enjoyable for me. There are a few chapters I enjoyed, however. Chapter 4 is the one I heavily enjoyed. As with every chapter in the game, this one is divided into 4 segments. The first and third segments are similar. You swim in space with your companion Squirps, their green laser gun alien, shooting enemies and traveling through black holes. The second part is the letdown on one of the least enjoyable parts of the game. To sum it up, Scorps needs to go to the washroom. Sleep, a pixel is occupying the toilet. He needs paper. Travel to the end of the planet. Pay the ugly old alien for the paper. Give it to Philippe. Finish. The high point and my favorite part of the chapter is the fourth segment. You explore a dungeon called Ozone. The whole gimmick of the Ozone is changing gravity by hitting blocks. This lets you go through doors on the wall and on the ceiling. It also gives you access to unreachable chests. I love this gimmick and it makes this area very confusing and challenging. At the end, you fight the Green Thunder and his robot, beat them up and hear the sad story of Scorps and his mother. Number 7. When it comes to the second last chapters, they don't impress me that much. I pretty much feel like it is where my enjoyment of the game comes to a halt. Well, that's not the case with chapter 7 from the original. First off, the music and atmosphere of this chapter are just breathtaking. You start at Shiver City where Mario is accused of killing the mayor of the city, so now it is your job to clear your name before you get executed by the penguins. Well, you won't get executed, but none of the penguins trust you anymore. Seeing that you hold a metallic hammer, it is easier to see that you could just smash a mayor to death. This small quest is just a joy to do, easily one of the highlights of the chapter. Don't think that is all the chapter that has to offer. This chapter is filled with amazing moments. Halfway through the chapter, you climb River Mountain while hearing probably the most peaceful music this game offers. Your quest is to reach the top of the freezing mountain and enter Crystal Palace, a place for the Star Kids that has been taken over by Bowser's fellows. While going up the mountain, you get an extra Koopa as a partner. Double the Koopa, double the fun, right? Well, truthfully, he is a duplicate in disguise. Crystal Palace is the chapter's dungeon. The whole idea of this area is that it is divided in the middle and both halves are mirrors of each other. What you do in one half affects what happens in the other half. This creates a lot of amazing puzzles for you to figure out. An example of this great gimmick is that in one half there is a giant statue that is too heavy for Mario to push. So you have to go to the other half, where you will find a small statue instead. Moving it will also move the big statue with it. This is a really cool puzzle, along with the others this palace offers. At the end of the palace, you fight Crystal King, a great ending to a great chapter. When it comes to the final chapter, TDYD delivers the most. The Palace of Shadows is a huge dungeon filled with tough enemies and puzzles that require you to use the majority of your party members. There are even some rooms filled with traps, such as spikes emerging onto the floor, rotating fire bars, and a room that loops. The story behind this palace is that it was once a city that stood where Rogerport now stands. What happened to it is that it sank underground, which explains the structure of this palace. There are multiple tough mitten bosses that you fight here, such as Gloomtail, the fearsome red-eyed black dragon. There is an outer section of the palace that looks mysterious and gorgeous. In the middle, there is a tower filled with 8 tricky riddles that you have to solve. As a kid, the riddles of the tower stumped me. They were difficult for me to solve, which is probably why I love this part of the chapter. The Shadow Queen is a great ending for the final chapter of the game. Her difficulty, high HP and deep move pool makes her a blast to battle. Number 5. Coming in at number 5 is Chapter 5 from Paper Mario 64. With the exception of Super Paper Mario, each Paper Mario game had a chapter that took place on an island. Mount Lava Lava Island is inhabited by Yoshis. Within the island lies an active volcano, which is where Mario must go. During your vacation with the Yoshis, the 5 rescue squad leader Yoshi kids get lost in the jungle while playing there. It is your duty as Mario to find them. The Yoshi parents just wave their hands in the air and panic. Great parenting. This part is what makes me love this chapter. Adventuring deep through the jungle, taking multiple paths to find all the baby Yoshis while fighting many enemies is just so much fun. Not to mention that the jungle is huge, which is a plus. Once you step foot into the volcano, you see a piranha plant reporting to his master level piranha that Mario is in their turf. The volcano focuses more on platforming, jumping from platform to platform to avoid lava and over fire bars than on puzzles. Unfortunately, the volcano is pretty easy to go through since there are very few puzzles and it is very linear. It is fun to play through though. You do get the Ultra Hammer here, a great weapon for those pesky lava bubbles, but a horrible one against the boss. Still, it is an amazing arsenal. The Lava Piranha is a joy to fight. It is an easy battle if you use the Ice Badge and Sushi's and water attacks. However, it is very difficult if you don't. You would think that the chapter would end after beating the boss, but nope, the volcano starts to erupt and now you have to escape the volcano. A great surprise and thrilling moment after beating the boss. Number 4. Oh look, another island chapter. Chapter 4 from Color Splash takes the number 4 spot. The story of this chapter is that you need to sail the pirate ship to Fortune Island, an island of treasure. In short, it's pirate themed. You start your chapter on Violet Passage. Here you need to sail the boat through the Lost Sea. To cross the sea, you need to solve a few riddles and play 2 minigames. The minigames suck, but the riddles are decent and somewhat enjoyable to do. Once you clear the Lost Sea, you make your way to Vortex Island. Why not immediately to Fortune Island? Because there is a vortex blocking the way. No surprise there. Now what puts this chapter at the fourth spot is the concept of the chapter. Each island has a pipe that leads to a parallel world that is a mirrored version of the normal world, but spooky. It is similar to Crystal Palace's concept. You need to figure out what is causing the vortex in the parallel world. It turns out that a washing machine is causing the vortex. You wring it out and put a stop to the vortex. Now darkness blocks your progression, so you have to disembark on Lighthouse Island. So you need to activate the lighthouse to see clear through the darkness. To do so, go get a light bulb from the parallel lighthouse to activate the lighthouse in the normal world. A cool puzzle here is inside the parallel lighthouse. It is all dark. To see the path, you need to color it. There are other neat ideas here, but this one takes the cake. Finally, Fortune Island. This is the best level in the chapter. When you first arrive, you realize that the cave holding the treasure cannot be entered in the normal world. So you need to enter the parallel cave and open an alternate path so you can access the cave in the actual world. There are a lot of creative ideas here. Another one is this room with spikes. You need to memorize their locations since in the parallel world the spikes are hidden. You also need to arrange a bunch of tortures according to their arrangement in the normal cave. At the end, Wendy awaits you. The battle isn't anything that special except that she attacks you according to the rhythm of the boss theme. One last thing I need to mention. The music pieces of this chapter are amazing. Number 3. Probably the most creative chapter in TTOID, chapter 66, third place in my list. The idea of this chapter is that you have to take the train to Poshla Heights where a crystal star is. Oh, if it only were that easy. Just when you start your vacation inside the train, you find a threat letter. The letter states that if you don't stop searching for the crystal stars, an explosive will hit the train. You have to solve the mystery of who is behind the master plan. You spend the first day on your train solving minor mysteries involving the passengers. It is not until the second day you get information that all the ingredients that are needed to make the explosive had been stolen. It turns out that the passengers had the ingredients needed for it. It turns out that the evil genius behind all this is Dupless. Dun dun dun! On the evening of the second day, the train stops at Riverside Station since the drawbridge has been raised. Mario has to go inside the station and lower the drawbridge since the guards are too lazy to do it themselves. The Riverside Station is a small mini dungeon that I enjoy. The best part about it is getting the Ultra Boots, an equipment that lets you spring high up in the sky. It is also amazing in battle. On the third day, the train gets attacked by Smorgs. You have to battle them on top of the train. The setting is beautiful, although for the sixth boss, they are pretty easy. After beating Smorg, you arrive at Poshla Heights, where the crystal star awaits. In the Sanctum, you have to solve one final mystery before getting it. The setting of the chapter and the mysteries you have to solve is what makes this chapter really special. Number 2. Now for me, the most memorable chapter in any Paper Mario game is chapter 6 from the original one. What makes this chapter so memorable is where it takes place, Flower Fields. When you first arrive, you hear the story of Flower Fields and what happened to it. Wise Western Wood tells you that the monster called Huff and Puff has covered the entire place with dark clouds by using his Puff machine. So now you have to find it and destroy it in order to help the citizens of Flowerfield, which are flowers. The dark clouds are actually preventing the sun from going up in the sky and shining its light on the flowers. The great thing about this chapter is how it reflects the problem Flowerfield is in. When you look at the background, it's covered in dark clouds and the music is so depressing that it just fits the atmosphere and the situation that Flowerfield is currently in. In order to reach Huff and Puff, you have to destroy the Puff machine and plant a giant beanstalk to climb up to him. In order to climb the beanstalk, you have to gather 3 items from the citizens of Flowerfield. Another great thing about Flowerfield is character development. Each flower is in dire trouble and you have to help her. One flower requires you to defeat a bunch of enemies, another one requires you to find her lost treasure, and so on. Flowerfield is filled with unique areas such as the hedge maze, the dried up area where you acquire the water source to fill it up, the sun tower where the sun is, the mysterious well, the area where you have to solve the switch puzzle, and more. After giving the Puff machine a good whack with your hammer, it is finally destroyed, and you get this beautiful cutscene where you see the sun rising up to the sky, all the flowers and the trees celebrating that the clouds have finally gone and the sun is finally up in the sky where it belongs. It's just a beautiful cutscene seeing everybody happy and how you have helped them achieve this happiness. Oh, and remember when I said that the background was filled with dark clouds and the music was depressing, reflecting how Flowerfield was? Well, after you destroy the Puff machine and get rid of the cloud, the background changes into a beautiful blue sky and the music turns into happy music, reflecting how Flowerfield is in the current situation after destroying the Puff machine. I really love this change in background and the music. It's just a beautiful idea that Nintendo has put. So So after defeating the Puff Puff machine and the sun has now risen to the sky, you can finally plant the giant beanstalk to climb up to the skies and beat Hufflepuff. Now, excluding the final and optional bosses in the Paper Mario franchise, Hufflepuff for me is the hardest boss in the entire franchise. The difficulty, the battle strategies you have to come up with, his design, his massive plan to cover flower fields with darkness, these are the reason why he is my favorite boss in the series. Number 1. Now I have to admit that chapter 6 from the original was always my favorite. I always preferred it than all of the other chapters. That is until Paper Mario Color Splash came out. Now when it comes to Color Splash, for me it has the best levels out of all the Paper Mario games. And for number 1, chapter 5 takes the spot. Now this chapter is absolutely outstanding. The levels you play through this chapter are Mustard's Cafe, Toad Train Works, Tangerino Grills and Sunset Express. When you arrive at Mustard Cafe, you get blown into the pit. Here you have to rescue the chef who also fell into the pit. Now at first glance it seems like an ordinary desert level. You got quicksand, pokies, there's nothing that makes it stand out from other desert levels. There are a few good sections here though. You have to fix pipes by coloring the missing spots on the pipes so they can function. This is a great idea. I mean, like, you have to walk on top of the pipe and avoid pokies. Once you reach the end and try to make your way to the surface where the mini paint star is, you get kidnapped by Sliffus and thrown into jail. So now you have to escape out of the jail. This is the fun part of the level. Trying to escape the jail and find your way out. Not only that, but you also have to rescue the chef who has also been kidnapped and get his key inside their hideout. This is a really fun mini dungeon and my favorite part of the level. After finishing Mustard Cafe, you get access to Toad Train Works and Tangerino Grill. You don't do anything there but get a broad view of the level. However, in Tangerino Grill, you hear that the train is about to leave Marmalade Valley and make its way to Tangerino Grill for the passengers to eat. In order to get to Tangerino Grill, it has to go through Kiwano Temple and Toad Train Works to make it there. When you go to Kiwano Temple, you find that the train stopped because the railway has been destroyed, and who else other than Bowser could have done it? I mean, it could have been Mario, could it? Of course not. So luckily the Blue Rescue Squad is there and they fixed the railway. So now the train can finally move. So the train starts to move, right? And then bam! It gets crushed by the swamp. And now it has to go to Toad Train Works to get fixed. So you make your way to Toad Train Works and you find out that the Toads can't work because of Bowser's minions. So now it is your job to fix the train. This is a great part of the level. Fixing the train, putting all the pieces together, filling it up with coal. It's just a really unique and fun idea. And not only that, but in this level, Nintendo has come up with the most brilliant, creative cutscene or idea in any Paper Mario game ever. And I'm about to show you right now. Whoever thought of that deserves a huge raise. Next up is Tangerino Grill. All the passengers should be eating right now. But once you go there, you realize that they're all upset that they're not getting their food. So you realize, okay, so what's going on? Why aren't they getting their food? You enter the kitchen and you realize that Bowser's minions, I mean who else, are causing all the ruckus and preventing the Toads from cooking. So now it is your job to get rid of all of the Shy Guys. I mean the Toads aren't gonna get rid of them by themselves, right? So once you do so, you talk to the chef and you realize that he's crippled thanks to the Shy Guys and now he can't cook. So now you have to take over and become Cooking Mario. This is a great idea and a fun one at that. So now you have to cut the onions, spread the dough, and start cooking a pizza for the Toads. It's called the Mamma Mia pizza. After finishing the pizza and delivering it to the Toads, you watch them and see if they're happy or not with your cooking. Dun 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 dun. So if you did it wrong after you start the cooking, which is the bad part, but if you did it right, they all scream delicious, and now you move to the next part, the more difficult part and the best part of the level. You have to cook the huge steak for the VIP. You'd think that it would be just like the pizza where you go to the kitchen and cook, but nope, you actually have to fight the steak. Now to cook him, you have to actually fight him in a very specific way to finish this mission. At first, it might seem difficult, but what I really like about this part is that you have to talk to all the toads and gather all the information that they give you about how to cook the steak and put them together and figure out the correct way to cook the steak. I really like it when a game does that. You have to talk to a bunch of characters, gather all the information and put them together to solve the solution. So after finishing the steak, you give it to the VIP and he gives you the mini paint star. Now you can move on to the final level. Now the final destination of the train is Starlight Cape, where the big paint star is. The problem is though, the VIP has hijacked the train, who turns out to be Larry. Dun dun dun, plot twist. So now it is your job to get the train back. There are a lot of great sections in this train, such as where you have to prevent the Shy Guys from seeing you, parts where you have to walk on the side to get on top of the train. There's even this cabin where you can only enter it from above, and once you fall in, a bunch of sniffers threaten you to shoot you if you move, which is pretty hilarious. And there's even this one section where you have to sit next to a Shy Guy and hear his sad tale of being Bowser's minion and how awful it is. Now at the end you fight Larry as the boss, who can be quite challenging, but it's not that fun, mostly because of the battle mechanics. It depends if you enjoy the game or not. So now the train, after you beat Larry Koopa, the train arrives at Starlight Cape and you can finally get the big paint star. Overall, this chapter is pretty amazing. Every single level is pretty fun and unique. You get thrown into jail, you have to fix the train, you have to cook for the passengers, and at the end you have to get the train back from the hijacker. This is my favorite chapter in all of the Paper Mario series. So anyway guys, I really hope you enjoyed the video of my top 10 favorite Paper Mario chapters, and I'm thinking of doing my least favorite. I'm not sure what is next exactly. And yeah, I know the quality of the video wasn't the best, and there are a lot of problems I guess, but I still hope you enjoyed, and subscribe and leave a thumbs up. Thanks.